Story 1. I am deeply sad, confused, and stuck. I am just existing and want to sleep, so I do not feel anything. If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number. In the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or crisis line. Story 2. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I still feel incredibly alone despite all the progress I've made. Story 3. After being in remission for a while last August, my cancer returned. Unlike many people, I know what 2025 holds because I am currently fighting it again. Story 4. I don't know. I feel like crying a lot and want to be hugged so badly. Story 5. I got turned down by my crush yesterday. I am pretty devastated at the moment. On the flip side, my year started off badly, so I guess the only way is up. Edit. I have never had so many likes. Thanks for all the comments. Story 6. I am detoxing. I quit smoking yesterday and stopped using marijuana last week. I do not drink, so I am fine. I am glad I quit now instead of while I was at work, because I think I might have harmed some of my colleagues. Story 7. I have never been better. The universe is an entertaining place. I am happy to be alive and to live in a way that works for me. I have my bills paid and a good job. I am satisfied with myself and feel I am working toward a better quality of life every day. I hope I am making a positive impact on the world. Story 8. I am supporting my wife as her mother's condition deteriorates because of cancer. I am grateful for the support of other family members, but the grief remains and continues to grow. It is hard to keep being the shoulder to cry on, but I know she will be the shoulder for me when I need it. Story 9. I am feeling dreadful. I am currently undergoing blood tests because I have dangerously low platelets and a high white blood cell count. Judgment Day is tomorrow. I hope to find out whether it is an autoimmune disease or something worse. Happy 2025. Story 10. I asked my boyfriend if he could please spend more quality time with me, as we do not live together yet. I needed to connect with him because we had been arguing. He told me that he preferred to meet with his friends and that I would not understand what it is like to juggle relationships, family, work, and friendships. We had spent a nice New Year's Eve together, but he woke up on the first day of the year in an incredibly bad mood and argued about politics with me. I am Jewish. As he listed all the other things he did not like about me, I thought, yeah, you are right, we need to break up. He cried, saying his past relationship 8 years ago messed him up so badly that he became a people pleaser and feels he never gets to do what he wants, even though he often refuses my suggestions and then does what he wants. This man needs therapy, honestly, and I am not going to wait for it. He can just faff off. How are you? Story 11. I feel extremely hopeless and depressed. I do not see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks for asking. Story 12. I have an interview on the 3rd and I am very nervous. I appreciate all the good wishes. Story 13. I objectively realize my life could be far worse, but I have been very depressed and lonely. I broke up with my ex in 2024. I thought I would marry that person. I discovered she had moved on to a new serious relationship almost immediately, and what little self-esteem I had left disappeared. The things that used to bring me joy are dull and meaningless. I realized most of my so-called friends are actually just acquaintances and do not include me in their cliques. A fling I was seeing attempted suicide after I set boundaries and then ghosted me. Next week my thyroid will be removed, and I will spend my birthday alone in my parents' basement recovering. I was written up at work for things I see my coworkers doing every day, so now I must return to the office after a week instead of working from home. I had been planning a trip to Japan, which I probably can no longer afford because it would require taking more time off work. Despite a great deal of therapy, journaling, and meditation, I have never been this depressed. Part of me hopes I die on the operating table so I will not have to feel like this anymore. I am sorry you are feeling so hopeless. If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please contact emergency services now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are outside the United States, please contact your local emergency number or a local crisis service. If you would like, I can help you find local resources or support. Story 14. Not great. I admitted to my husband that I have a problem with alcohol, and he is being very supportive, but I feel terrible. I am embarrassed and disappointed in myself. Day 1 of no alcohol. My teenage self swore I would never drink, and here I am. Story 15. I am being eaten alive by major depression, unfortunately. How about you? Story 16. I am going through a divorce and feel incredibly alone and sad. This is probably the worst I have felt in my life. Story 17. Staying up last night for New Year's left me tired today, but overall I am doing great. I am just relaxing and reading. I am planning to go for a walk later with my dog, so it is going to be a good day. Story 18. A little bored but actually happy and looking forward to the next few hours. How are you? Story 19. This is horrible. The same awful thing keeps happening, and I don't know how to get out of it. How are you supposed to fix something when the problem takes hours of effort, leaving you with almost no time or energy to do anything? What are you supposed to do when simply existing is a struggle? If you are feeling overwhelmed or struggling to exist, please seek help. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Consider reaching out to a trusted person or a mental health professional. Are you safe right now? Story 20. Doing great. I love my wife. I sent her crumble cookies earlier. The kids are cute and exhausting. The potluck at work was good. Miraculously, I don't have any major appliance or home repair that I'm procrastinating right now. At the potluck, there was a fancy bread with a tiny baby Jesus baked inside, and I got it. I found one of my kids' toys that we thought was lost under a seat in the car, so I'm going to surprise her later. Simple pleasures, life is good. Story 21. I was doing really well. Then New Year's Eve hit me. I suddenly had to say goodbye to my cat of 14 years. I am heartbroken, but aside from that, life is good. Story 22. I am doing poorly overall. It is too much and too negative to go into detail. Story 23. Life is good. I'm busy with my job and it really helps my mind. But sometimes I just want to escape for a while without anyone asking me where I was or what I was doing. Story 24. I feel sad, lonely, and resigned. A few days ago, I had a conversation with a man I cared deeply about and with whom I want a romantic relationship. He shares those feelings but is too scared he will hurt me and does not want to risk losing me. I disagree with his choice, but I respect it. Last night, I made a pass at another friend I am interested in, and he politely but firmly turned me down. I am tired of having feelings for people without getting the companionship I want. Story 25. Just living until I find something exciting about life again. Story 26. After watching the documentary Hypernormalization by Adam Curtis today for the first time, I feel somewhat down about the reality of our dystopian future. There is no leader with a vision to get us out of this situation. I am okay, but I worry about my children's futures. Story 27. Seriously, I am quite drained, probably depressed, and terrified about my future. I went through my finances recently and I am neck-deep in debt. I might not be able to afford the payments on all my loans unless I work overtime. I just wanted to buy a car and be normal. Apparently, it costs a lot more to own a car than to buy one. I have been single since high school. I will turn 31 this year. I consider myself unattractive, so finding someone is very hard. All my friends and family are married, own homes, and have some stability. I am trying to keep afloat by myself. I feel like no one really loves me. Not even my niece, whom I thought adored spending time with me. As she has grown into her teenage years, she has pretty much brushed me off. We were very close. She looked up to me, and I treated her almost as if she were my own daughter. I cannot enjoy anything anymore. I used to love watching movies, playing video games, and pursuing hobbies such as fishing and scale model building. But now I can barely follow a movie or game without becoming distracted by all of this. I am lucky if I get 2 hours of sleep at night. I have been prescribed 4 different sleeping tablets in the last month, and none of them work. So yes, laughing out loud. Story 28. Currently, I'm dealing with my dad and my mother-in-law, who both have dementia, and a used car dealership that is taking advantage of me. It has been extremely difficult. I have a care nurse on the way to stay with my dad tonight, so I'll at least get a brief break from my responsibilities. I just want to go home and hug my daughter, who I haven't seen in 4 days. Story 29. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you? It is a lovely day. I did not party too hard last night. I am fully ignoring the news for the next 4 years, and life in my corner of the universe is mostly good. Story 30. Euphoric. I am making a 3-dimensional model, and my brain is bustling with ideas on how to make it work. Story 31. Am I the only one who is happy here? Damn, this is kinda sad. Story 32. I am mentally exhausted. I need a break. Thank you for asking. Story 33. I am pretending to message someone to avoid unwanted social interaction because some family members came over for New Year's, and it is really overwhelming. Story 34. If you had asked me a year ago, the answer would have been much worse. Now I am doing well. Except for an empty space in my heart I would like to fill with a special person who does not yet exist or whom I have not yet found. I like myself, but if I were not shy or anxious, my chances would be better. I am satisfied that my life is improving. Story 35. I'm overall okay. There are things I'm not happy about and things I'm very happy about. Story 36. I am sick, exhausted, and anxious. I have been having frequent full-on panic attacks for the past couple of weeks. I am worried about my finances and about my parents. I am very concerned and saddened by the state of politics and the media. I often feel helpless and hopeless, and I feel lonely and too unhinged to do anything about it. Story 37. I am at a point where I do not understand anything, and I keep asking why. Story 38. I feel scared, anxious, lonely, and obsessed, yet at the same time thrilled about the new adventures 2025 has in store for me. Story 39. Not great. I recently contracted the herpes simplex virus from a person, but I think there is more going on. It might be the human immunodeficiency virus, but I have to wait another week before I can test. I am very anxious and feel there is nothing I can do. Story 40. These comments lead me to believe that something is truly wrong with our society right now. There is a lot of desperation and loneliness. I wish everyone the best. Story 41. Pretty rubbish, to be fair. I have thought a lot about giving up, and I only stay because I know how devastated my partner would be. I also have a dog and a cat I must look after. I have a good job and a few friends, and I am self-employed, so I can travel whenever I want. I feel guilty for feeling this way, but honestly, if I could end it, I probably would. Story 42. I'm tired. I'm sick of cleaning up after people at home and of going to work only to be left with tasks my coworkers won't do. I'm studying a field I don't want because my chosen career doesn't pay enough. So my education feels like a slow trudge into something I don't care about. Story 43. Not happy or sad. Some days are good and some days are bad, more often than not. I'm not looking to change it. How is everyone else? Story 44. Life is exhausting, and there is so much uncertainty. At this exact moment, I am fine, except that I am sick. Story 45. Thank you so much for asking that question. Many people are afraid to ask because they already know the answer. Story 46. I feel uncomfortable in my own body. I became sick and am having a hard time dealing with it. Story 47. Not great, not bad, just meh. I am not depressed, by the way. Being meh is not necessarily the same as being depressed. Story 48. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. It sounds like you're struggling and having thoughts of ending your life. Are you in immediate danger, or do you have a plan to harm yourself right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number, for example, 911 in the United States, or go to the nearest emergency room. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or text HOME to 741741 to reach the crisis text line. In the United Kingdom and Ireland, Samaritans are available at 116 123. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or your country's suicide prevention hotline, If you can, consider reaching out to someone you trust right now, a friend, family member, or neighbor. I can also help you rephrase the sentence for Azure text-to-speech to remove explicit self-harm while keeping the meaning. For example, I've been feeling overwhelmed. It reminds me to appreciate what I have. Would you like more options or to talk more about what's going on? Story 49. From the perspective of a person who is doing worse, I am okay, great, even. From someone who is doing better, I am okay but could be better. From my perspective, I am doing horribly on many fronts and for many reasons. I am not okay. Story 50. Not great, but I am still breathing. I have been applying for jobs for a whole year and am starting to feel worthless. How about you, original poster? I hope you are doing amazing in life. Story 51. I am a ball of emotions. I am happy because I managed to purchase my first home. I close on it at the end of the month. I am scared because I work in a volatile industry and, while I have avoided many layoffs, one now would be problematic. I am lonely because, well, who is not? I am angry because I feel like my roommate, who is my ex, is taking advantage of my kindness when it comes to keeping up the house we rent and caring for her animals, which she is rarely home to look after. My support network is mostly on the West Coast and I am residing on the East Coast. It is a strange time in life. Story 52. Uncertain. It's hard to ignore how messed up the world has become and try to be happy. Doom scrolling can't be great for that either. Story 53. My mom died recently, and I am working through a possible divorce from my wife. I have never been better. Story 54. I am anxious. My husband has been in surgery for 2 hours, and I am hoping he will be okay. Story 55. I feel stuck, afraid, and confused. Major depression is a bitch. Story 56. Things are pretty bad. I am disappointed in the state of the world and in people. I feel too stubborn to change my habits and my social anxiety, and because of that I believe I will die alone someday and that no one will love me. However, I find peace in the good things I have, such as my family and friends. I am afraid I will lose them all one day. Story 57. I am okay, much better than I was a few months ago. I almost did not make it to this year. Story 58. I am scared. For the first time in my life, I am very afraid of the road ahead. I am a disabled veteran, so hearing President Musk and First Lady Plump talk about getting rid of Department of Veterans Affairs medical care is terrifying. I take care of my mother. She is on Social Security disability, another target of these two. My wife is also 100% disabled and in the same circumstances. These billionaire parasites fully intend to target the most vulnerable, and people wearing red hats will celebrate as that damned Obamacare goes away, all while being completely shocked when their Affordable Care Act goes with it. No amount of reassurance will help. Stop me if you have heard a few of these. 1. He is not a real candidate. 2. He is running for publicity. It is a public relations stunt. 3. He cannot win. Even Hillary Clinton can beat him. 4. Did you hear that tape? No way he can win now. 5. Oh shit, he won. Well, he cannot possibly do all the bad things he said he was going to do. 6. Wait, he is actually putting kids in cages? Lawyers are going to have a field day. That will not last long. 7. He is not going to build that wall. Never going to happen. 8. These folks will not get confirmed. No way would they put these lying bastards on the Supreme Court. 9. He will settle in and stop with the rhetoric. 10. Do not worry, the Democrats will take the House, stop him with X, or put responsible people in the room. I could go on, but we all lived through it, well, those with functional brain cells did. Now he will have even fewer constraints than last time. He is already stepping on the gas to satisfy his worst impulses. He is lining his pockets with money raised for children with cancer. He really hates kids with cancer. The American public continues to sleepwalk through life while the country burns around them. Entirely too many of them are even gleefully cheering it on like Frito in Idiocracy when they shoot his car. It was a funny movie until I found myself living it. Story 59. First day of the year, and I already want to kill myself. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, Please call emergency services or go to the nearest emergency room now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are not in the United States, tell me your country and I will find local crisis numbers. Consider contacting someone you trust or a mental health professional. Are you safe right now? I can help find resources or stay with you here. Story 60. I am cold, tired, and anxious about returning to college next week. Story 61. I am doing very well. I met some wonderful people while on a once-in-a-lifetime vacation to the Dominican Republic. We have never had a lot of money, so it has been very enjoyable to vacation with my family. Story 62. Moving out of a house full of hoarded belongings is very stressful. I think I am part of the problem. I just want to get my car working again, and I am fighting to get a job. Story 63. I am a little drained and confused, but I am doing fine. Yesterday a friend told me something that really shocked me. Story 64. I always try to wake up with a sense of hope for the new year, but the amount of tragic news and stories I have seen already has left me feeling not great. Story 65. It's been a while since someone asked me that. I'm not really okay. I've been jobless for a while now. Thankfully, I received disability income. I have had no real-life friends since 2019. I live in a country that is at war and have conflicts with my family. Except for my mom and brothers, the rest can go to hell. I do nothing all day. I just sleep, use the bathroom, drink coffee, and smoke cigarettes like a chimney. Overall, I'm not okay, but I'm still alive, so I guess that's something. Story 66. I lost my job last January and have not been able to find one since. I am 38 and living back at home for the time being. I am losing hope and do not know what to do anymore. Story 67. I am not okay, drained, exhausted, and depressed. I could be on the mend, but it depends on getting social and work support, and I am not sure I will get either. Story 68. Overstimulated and feeling unmotivated, sad, and empty. Story 69. I am not doing well. I am a little scared about this year and extremely stressed about how I will pay my bills, even though I am earning more money than I ever have. Story 70. I'm really sad. My housemate ruined Christmas. Then the drummer of my band assaulted me at band practice. It's been a horrible holiday season for me. Story 71. Alvin Toffler wrote a book more than 50 years ago called Future Shock. It explains how change can outpace our ability to adapt. I experience that often. Humans have changed more in the last 100 to 200 years than in the previous 10,000 years. Story 72. I'm in the process of moving on from my first love, who didn't love me back and fell in love with someone else. She has been really great about it, even after I told her I loved her. I'm trying to shift my feelings to platonic love because we're best friends. It's been difficult, but I'm getting there. I love her in whatever way I can. That won't change. Story 73. Same as I have been since 2012. Recently, though, I have been feeling better than I did in the last few days, physically at least. Whatever was ailing me has passed. Story 74. I closed on a house and lost my job months later. Things could be better. This happened within a year of getting out of the military. Story 75. Day 1 of breaking my porn addiction. I am kind of stressed. Story 76. I am good and enjoying myself. In fact, I am so happy that I could dance right now. I just had a bowel movement. My stomach feels light. I will have an orange and talk to my loved one until I fall asleep. Story 77. My mind keeps racing all day. I want to rush my life as soon as possible so I can know what will happen. I only want a clue about how my future will look. I cannot stop overthinking everything. I need answers to my questions so I can have a peaceful mind. I do not want to lose my joy because of the mistakes I have made. Story 78. I feel lonely and confused, but it is January 1st, 2025. I am not letting anything stop me from enjoying myself. Laughing out loud. Life goes on. Story 79. It depends on the day. Right now I am tired because I have had only 4 hours of sleep. Story 80. I am at a shaky balancing point. I cannot pretend that I am particularly happy or satisfied with the way my life is right now, but I am not spiraling into despair anymore. I have moved from, it is never going to get better to, it is going to suck, but I am going to make it better. Story 81. I feel trapped in my job because of my salary, so it is difficult to move. My dad has a lung disease which has led to depression and a drinking problem. I am trying to help my mom as much as possible, but it is draining. All of my closest friends are either living far away or are busy with children. I have an incredible fiancé who helps me more than she will ever know, so I count myself lucky. Story 82. I feel trapped in my job because of my salary and find it difficult to leave. My father has a lung disease which has led to depression and a drinking problem. I am trying to help my mother as much as possible, but it is draining. All my closest friends are either living far away or busy with their children. I have an incredible fiancé who helps me more than she will ever know, and I count myself lucky. Story 83. I am exhausted, lonely, depressed, and a little jealous. I am good at pretending that I am only slightly down at the moment, so everything seems fine to others. Story 84. I'm kind of in between. It's been better, but it could be worse. Thank you for asking. Story 85. I recently realized I will not be going back to school for the third time. A huge weight has been lifted from my mind, but I did not have plans for a future that would have required that third attempt. Sometimes I stand in my living room trying to figure out what I want to do. I am mostly bored with video games, movies, and books. Most of my friends live too far away to visit, and I am not sure what we would talk about. My wife and children no longer share my interests. I am not sad, but I feel aimless. Story 86. Scared and optimistic. Story 87. I am pretty good. I have a lot to be thankful for in my life, although nothing is ever perfect. I just got a puppy and he is driving me insane, but other than that I am doing well. Story 88. I am feeling terrible because of pancreatitis. Thank you for asking. I have spent my whole life dealing with mental health issues that made me want to end my life, and now that those issues have eased, physical pain is pushing me toward the same thoughts. Laughing loudly, I hope I will be fine. The pain will stop at some point, but long-term effects are a possibility. I am sorry you are feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency services or a crisis hotline, and consider reaching out to a trusted person or a mental health professional for support. Story 89. I am doing quite well. Finances are covered, and I am surrounded by family and friends for the new year. It has mostly been good. It is far from the kind of misery that attracts upvotes, but it is honest. Story 90. I am exhausted physically and mentally. I am in pain and under a lot of pressure. I am overdoing it and stressing too much. Story 91. I technically lost my source of income on the 19th, so Christmas has been even worse on top of the seasonal depression. I am in limbo right now. I know what to do next, but it really sucks to go through this. Things just are not working. However, it does make me realize and appreciate much more the things I do have and can control. Story 92. I'm sorry you are feeling this way. I feel overwhelmed by anxiety and it seems out of control, even with medication. If you are thinking about harming yourself, please seek help now. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you would like, I can help you find support options in your area. Story 93. Well, I went through the worst of it from what I could tell. I don't know if it gets better, but I'm hopeful. Story 94. I'm so fucking depressed that it's starting to scare me. Story 95. I have had a cough and stuffy sinuses for about 5 days. The ball of my toe is swollen and painful again. I will be out of a job in 8 weeks at most, and I really need a millionaire or a life coach to adopt me right now. I have thought about asking artificial intelligence for advice, but I recently learned that the thought of talking to artificial intelligence gives me anxiety. This feels like the giant moths all over again. Story 96. I'm in limbo. experiencing dissociation. There are so many variables in every decision I want to make. I get indecisive, often opting for neither. This back and forth. I want to better myself. This internal dialogue comes and goes. If I procrastinate at all, my subconscious will tear me apart for doing so. There is a delayed response to what I interpret as my soul's desire. It's always the same message. I want to be better for those around me and for myself. But I worry I'm not enough, not cut from that cloth. A burning desire for greatness is caged inside someone who can't handle it. Burning out too soon, lazy, too reliant on creature comforts, a product of an era refined for convenience and minimal effort. Yet the desire never leaves. The message doesn't change. I am my own backseat driver. Sorry if this reads like dollar store Shakespeare. My articulation gets strange when I feel philosophical. Story 97. Most days I do not even know. I go through an emotional roller coaster in my head every day, but I do not let it show on my face. I have been through several traumatic experiences that have torn apart my layers of sanity, and I try very hard not to care about these things, but they linger. I have tried therapy and medication. Both made me feel worse. Time is taking the edge off, but I know that I will never fully heal. Story 98. Good. But I do not know what to make for dinner. I am tired of the usual dishes we prepare, and I have a large container of leftover cheese tortellini with red sauce. Story 99. I understand better why people end their own misery. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. If you are thinking about harming yourself, please contact local emergency services or a crisis line now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency number or look up crisis resources in your area. Consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you want, I can help find local resources. Story 100. Extremely depressed and currently in a mental health crisis, but it is okay. I am a man. I am sure there is an excellent support system of friends, family, my wife, and mental health professionals who will gladly give me the love and support I need and help me get through this. Checks notes. Nope. None of these people care about the mental health of a man who is actively saying I am in distress and need help. Nothing cuts deeper than having the courage to speak about your issues and having your wife not say a word, just stare at you while slow blinking, or friends totally ignoring you when you speak up. I am really looking forward to having a therapy session with one of the 13 therapists I emailed last month, even though not a single one has emailed back in several weeks. Yep, it is 2025 and already off to an excellent start. I am sorry you are feeling this way. Are you safe right now? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact local emergency services or a local crisis line. If you can, please reach out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. I can help find resources or helplines in your area if you want. Story 101. I'm sad right now. I prepped, cooked, and baked all day for a New Year's dinner for my whole family, but everyone canceled. Story 102. Pretty good overall. There are some stresses in life, but my family is generally happy and in good health, which I do not take for granted. Story 103. I'm fine. Technically, I have air in my lungs. My daughter is healthy. I'm working on getting more in shape, but I've also found myself just being really fucking lonely lately. Story 104. I am lost, confused, and tired of the world. I wonder if I will survive 2025, but I will do my best. I'm sorry you're feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number, for example, 911 in the US. If you are in the US, you can also call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency services or a crisis line in your country. Consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. If you'd like, I can help find resources in your area or help you tell someone how you're feeling. Story 105. I am a laborer in a capitalist hellscape who owns no means of production, and I am about as well off as can be expected in that situation. Story 106. To be honest, I do not have any idea where my life is headed, and I am not feeling good about it. Story 107. I am trying to come to grips with an entirely different worldview. I have recently come into contact with that is making me reconsider a lot of the ethical and moral beliefs I have held for the past 3 decades or so. Story 108. My wife is going through chemotherapy for stage 2 breast cancer. I feel like I am drowning trying to take care of my 4-year-old and support her while remaining positive. Story 109. The thing is, for me and for nearly everyone I know, answering "how are you" with a dismissive "fine" or "good" makes sense and is honest. Most people I know have their basic needs met and are physically healthy. If you ask me, "How do you feel?" the answer could be entirely different. Story 110. Honestly, I think I turned off too many systems when they all blinked, and I do not know how to turn them back on. Story 111. I am both scared and excited for the new year. I am trying my best to stay positive and to work on myself, though. Best of luck to everyone this year. I love you all. Story 112. I fell in love for the first time in more than 10 years, only to have my heart ripped out at Christmas and New Year's. Story 113. I am struggling every day. I make just enough money to pay my bills and buy food. That's about it. Story 114. The only reason I am still here is that I have a 6-year-old daughter I selfishly want to see grow up. Story 115. I am exhausted, not the kind of tired about life but truly physically exhausted. No matter how much sleep I get, I am still extremely tired when I wake up. Story 116. I am fine. I am trying to focus on myself and my acting and to avoid having a crush on anyone. It is going okay, but when school starts I will probably develop a crush on someone in my acting class. Story 117. I'm not okay, but everything will be all right eventually. I hope you're doing well. Story 118. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. That sounds incredibly painful. Are you in immediate danger or do you have a plan to harm yourself? If you are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. In the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are outside the United States, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis line. If you want, tell me your country and I can find specific resources. Consider reaching out to someone you trust or a mental health professional. You don't have to face this alone. I can stay with you and help. Full of hate, anger, and bitterness. I want to die, and I am angry that I wake up sometimes. There is no help to get. Modern medicine, also known as pills, does nothing but mask problems. I am alive in a world filled with greed, lust, and corruption, and I often consider that it might actually be hell. Story 119. I am worried and uncertain. 2024 has kicked my ass so much that I am numb and dazed. I hope 2025 will be a bit kinder. Story 120. I am tired and unsure if I have the energy to push through another semester. I am grateful that my Christmas depression is passing and that I have amazing friends. Story 121. Honestly, I feel my proverbial cup is empty and everything is flat. Story 122. I am running at about a 3 out of 10 right now. I feel like everything in my life is messed up. Story 123. I am full of beer, making creamy mashed potatoes with butter, and the steak pie is about to come out of the oven. Could not be better. Story 124. I am lost. I do not have any particular goals or dreams to pursue. The course I am taking does not suit my learning style, but I cannot quit now. I have decided to finish it, and afterward I will look for a line of work that pays enough to cover my lifestyle and bills. Story 125. Fine in the sense that I am content with what I have, even if it is not what I wanted for myself. I am not poor, but I am perpetually broke. Someone has to be, right? I am counting my blessings. It is better than hurting over what could have been but might never have been. Story 126. Objectively, life is all right. Subjectively, I feel very depressed and am in pain all the time. I frequently think about ending my life. I am very sorry you are feeling this way. If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 for immediate help. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local crisis line or emergency services. If you want, I can help find local crisis resources. Tell me your country or region. Story 127. I feel bad, but I have been channeling my feelings into working out, which makes me feel better. Story 128. I am beginning my next phase. I am retired and rootless. Story 129. As soon as these antidepressants kick in, I am going to be great. Story 130. I am doing fine because if I ask for help, people will think I am weak. Story 131. I am fine. I have been having more panic attacks and increased anxiety lately, and I am not sure why. It is exhausting. I am working to quit vaping and caffeine because those habits are not helping. Story 132. Pretty good. Great Christmas with the family so far. Very tired, though. Story 133. I'm exhausted from staying up late and waking up early. I start my winter course tomorrow. It will be 16 days of reading and writing every day with 2 exams. I'm nervous and trying to stay calm and take it day by day. But it's not working even though the course hasn't started yet. Story 134. Tired of my boss and the human resources department. His wife works there, and their terrible behavior. Yesterday, I threw my back out at work and told him I needed to go home. He walked away, and it took me about 10 minutes to stand up, so he thought I had left. I could hear him speaking negatively about me through the door. I think it is time to make another change. Happy New Year. Summary: not good, hopefully not for long. Story 135. Sometimes I am sad, sometimes very happy, and most of the time I experience a mix of emotions throughout the day. I have made a big leap in my personal growth as a father and as a soon-to-be husband. However, I struggle with symptoms commonly seen in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and I am seeking a diagnosis. Story 136. I am okay. I find that abstinence helps you narrow down the dating pool. Story 137. I feel confused and anxious. I did not end last year in a good place with my closest friends. I am still trying to sort things out, but I've been going with the flow. I don't know what to expect, and I don't want to because I fear being disappointed again. Thanks for asking. I hope you are well. Story 138. I am miserable. I quit smoking weed 16 days ago, and now I have pneumonia. Happy New Year. Story 139. I'm trying really hard to be happy and have fun, but I just feel terrible anyway. Story 140. Insert confused Larry David graphics interchange format. Laughing out loud. Where should I begin? Story 141. I am kind of tired, admittedly entirely because of my own bad habits. The holidays have allowed me to rest mentally. These past couple of weeks off have been an absolute blessing before I have to catch up on all the responsibilities I have been ignoring since Christmas. Thanks for asking. How are you doing, original poster? Story 142. I am chronically exhausted and numb. I need a break. Story 143. I'm trying my best to get my life together. I met a girl at a difficult time, and now I'm afraid of losing her. Story 144. I feel dissociated and run down. I work in healthcare and must put on a mask to care for others, often delaying or neglecting my own care. Story 145. I feel frazzled and confused. One of the best things that ever happened to me occurred on the same day as one of the worst. My amygdala is on a roller coaster. Story 146. I feel chaotic. Cannot hold my life together. I am not whole. I am distracted, forgetful, unreliable, a wild card. Right now I feel lost, confused, drained, and sad. Good things lie ahead, but I am already sabotaging myself. Story 147. After skirting the topic for months, I finally had the divorce conversation with my wife last week. I feel I am constantly being sneaky so I can protect myself legally, even though we want to proceed amicably. That makes me feel as if I am betraying her, even though we are in this situation because of her affairs. I am short. It is rough now and looks like it will get worse. Story 148. I just lost my seasonal job that all 3 of my coworkers were able to keep due to budgetary constraints. They were very nice and we got along well. This was my first real job in the field I studied in college. So I feel hurt about being left behind while the people I enjoyed working with continue bonding and gaining experience together. I am afraid I will end up with another low-quality job in the meantime. Story 149. I was stuck in a rut. My Christmas vacation was really boring. Story 150. Whatever illness is going around is leaving me lethargic and phlegmy. Also, my grandpa died today, but fair play to him, he was punctual. Story 151. It really doesn't matter. Things will never change until the day that I stop breathing. Story 152. I was exhausted after the Christmas holidays and facing many uncertainties in the year ahead, and I have not been able to get the things I have wanted for years. At the same time, I knew it could have been much worse. Story 153. I feel frustrated and sad. I let my emotions get the best of me and lost a friend and lover because of poor choices. I am overwhelmed with guilt because I valued having this person in my life. I feel lonely because I have trouble meeting new people. Story 154. I feel kind of indifferent and tired. I have more responsibility than I want, but there are positive aspects as well. Story 155. I am angry and disappointed with myself because I cannot stop procrastinating. I feel extremely foolish, and I know I need to study. Story 156. I am lonely, not in a bad way. I am an introvert. I am a little sick. I think I have strep throat, but it might be the flu. I feel very tired. Cannot swallow without pain. I cough every 30 seconds, which makes my throat hurt. Story 157. I am addicted and very unhappy about it, but too scared to try to stop. Story 158. I cry when I listen to Last Resort reimagined by Falling in Reverse. So there is that. Story 159. It's just terrible. My family doesn't understand. Year after year, the misery feels like torture. I work harder than anyone I know, and my life and body are crumbling around me. There is no justice in this world. Story 160. I am pretty happy and healthy, with a little hangover. Life is good. My wife has been declared cancer-free, which is the best news of all. Story 161. I am on the other side of a deep depressive episode during which I self-harmed and contemplated ending my life almost every day. I feel like the clouds are clearing and that I will be okay. Story 162. I'm chronically ill and glad the holidays are over. I don't feel well mentally or physically. Story 163. I am most concerned about my career. Despite a long and impressive resume, I have not worked since April. Hollywood has essentially moved production out of the United States, and Los Angeles in particular has been hit hard. There are some productions shooting here, but mostly projects that were already in production. We used to get travel jobs, but those have largely stopped. Productions are hiring locals for almost every position except directors, directors of photography, and actors, and possibly a few other roles. Productions are shooting in Canada, Asia, New Zealand and Australia, Hungary, the Czech Republic, parts of Africa, and other European countries. They are chasing tax credits and other bargains around the globe, and those countries often require hiring local crews. Governor Gavin Newsom mentioned raising tax credits, but that is unlikely to happen soon. We recently renegotiated contracts while labor, facility, and fee costs remain some of the highest in the industry. I put most of my life into this business, and it feels like it has evaporated overnight. I bought my first house in 2022 and was working on crime scene investigation, which should have kept me working for many years. The show was canceled this past April, and there has been nothing since. Story 164. Pretty good. Bad things happen sometimes, but they always pass. I still have things I want to do in life, and I am looking forward to doing them. I have a good partner and a little girl. We are facing these challenges together. Sometimes it is hard, but I am pretty optimistic. Story 165. I am taking life day by day. I do not have high hopes for the future. I must keep going until the end. Story 166. Overwhelmed. My husband has been in a medical facility since the second week of December. It is the fourth time this year, but for different reasons. My dad's dementia is getting worse. My best employee just retired, and I am getting sick, probably bronchitis. My house is a pigsty, and I am exhausted. Story 167. I am lonely, increasingly jaded, and angry, which has made me more conservative and selfish. Every time I try to do the things I know people will suggest, 9 times out of 10 I am slapped in the face with a reason to do the opposite. At the same time, I am more thankful than ever for my good health, my family, and the few friends I have. So it is a mixed bag. Story 168. I am 43 years old and have no idea how to budget. Together, we earn $90,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck. We do not pay rent, our credit is poor, and we have one car payment. We rarely eat out and do not have costly habits or hobbies. We do not drink, smoke, use drugs, gamble, or engage in other expensive behaviors. We want to buy a house, but building credit and saving for a down payment is difficult and feels fruitless at our age. Happy New Year to everyone. Story 169. I am not doing well. I worry all the time and feel out of control. Story 170. I am good. I am at a place in life where, after going through a lot, things have finally calmed down and I can breathe. All my problems are small. You learn to see how much of a blessing that is after a very difficult time. I lost a spouse, was a victim of theft, had health problems, and experienced family difficulties. I have just been sitting in relative comfort, and I have not felt that in such a long time. I am feeling grateful. How are you, original poster? Story 171. I am hanging in there. My parents left me with advantages that many of my peers do not have, and I feel guilty that I am ahead in some ways while also feeling that I am not doing enough in life. Story 172. I am stressed because tomorrow I will have to check my phone every 5 minutes for about 2 hours, so I do not miss the advertisements before the film at the cinema. Story 173. I feel numb. I am just kind of over it all. I don't really care about anything. I have no motivation or focus. Story 174. I am hopeful and excited about things to come. However, I cannot help noticing several flaws that diminish my self-worth and a lack of will and direction to keep working on them. That will be a tall wall to climb. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.